Hey, so I'm totally going nuts, and I just want to try to explain that in this video if I can. So thanks for being here today. By the way, I'm out for buying, so if you see that I'm bumping and jumping, hopefully the microphone. I talked to my brother after 10 years this morning. It was amazing. He called me to tell me, he said, hey, Google admitted that they took away people's channels because of health and politics, both of which I foolishly got involved in on the internet. But I still find, food, fitness, fasting, healing, health fascinating, as well as the politics. Both of them I'm just absolutely enamored with personally, but you got to leave that. It's best not to talk about health. It's best not to talk about politics, and it's best not to talk about religion. All three of the things that I myself have basically found, those are the main three. Well, then relationships also. That's probably a safer one because everyone kind of wants to have relationships, and you can get some generalities in there, but you can't. With the politics, it's very divided, and they've done an amazing job. I got to hand it to them, the powers that be. And I'm sucked in too. I've been drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm part of a cult. I'm brainwashed. And I have just learned to accept that. I guess I've been brainwashed because I find one side more entertaining than the other. But so that's the problem with that. And I lost a lot of people on there. In fact, I'm hemorrhaging to the left and the right. And I haven't even said anything. I've never even said what I truly believe really about anything, because when I did that with the health, I got demonetized, and then eventually I got canceled. But that was a combination of the AI, social credit score system, and then the Biden administration did tell Google, but Google was already on that path long before that. It's just that whoever's in power does actually have some control over what type of free speech is allowed. And that's what I find to be interesting. It's free speech is important as long as you're saying what they want to hear. If your free speech goes against what they want to hear, they don't mind canceling you off the end of the planet. Your family starves. It doesn't matter. You need to be within their paradigm of reality, in order for your free speech to be valid. So basically what we're dealing with here is a world that's insanity is on display. It's nothing new. It's just that now we've got these little gadgets that allow us to see massive volumes of the different levels of insanity and all the different factions within the varying levels of human consciousness that then generally produce conflict. And it's always been that way. And the war upon this earth is truth versus falsehood. And what's so interesting is that I believe, let's say one prime example that everyone might be understand, like let's say Jesus came back, right? I guarantee you the Christians would be the first people to hang his ass up. Do you understand what I mean? Because what happens is Jesus told the truth. Christians started a religion. Now, there's a big difference between truth and religion. Now, if you follow the tenets of your religion, generally, with all your heart, then you'll actually probably get to the end of that journey, or the top of the mountain, or the center, or to the heart, or the core of the source, So all religions are valid as long as you don't get stuck on those religious concepts. That's the problem. Belief systems may work as some type of framework to start your trajectory, but eventually you have to let go of everything you think you know. And I'm telling you right now, in this world, which of course, being somebody is the most important thing. But that is a lot easier. It is a lot easier to be somebody, especially now with filters, editing, silicone, Botox, bots, AI, and a million other ways to, become something via the internet. Now, here's the real challenge, which ultimately leads to freedom and peace eternal, is to become nobody. Or another way to put that would be to become nothing. And that's when you start to go down that road, because you see kind of like a way out of the prison that's been created for you and that you acquiesce to via your education, college, propaganda, magazines, education, and religion, and now social media, brainwashing. And it's so easy to see. The breatharians are fighting the other breatharians about who's the real breatharian. And the carnivores are fighting the other carnivores for not being carnivore enough. The vegans hate the other vegans for not being vegan enough. And the raw vegans hate the other raw vegans for not being raw vegan enough. And so the world is at war, even within their own factions. So basically what you surmise from all that is that the humans are at war within themselves, and that's the ultimate battle. So ultimately what you see is within, so without. That when you're at war within, then you'll find the war without. And that's why I've had a lot of friction, because I've been working through that the whole dang time that you've known me, for 17 years on social media. And on a couple of the videos, I said, that I'm exhausted, meaning, because after all these years, but it's kind of like certain pioneers can lay down the torch. But what I was saying, like Jesus, he told the truth and got killed. The truth has never been popular. It's not very popular now, and truth is interesting in how there's falsehood, and then there's relative truth, and then there's absolute truth. And what I've been trying to share on these videos, because it's something that has truly helped in this experience, is to anchor in on the absolute truth and then create a decision-making paradigm around that. But don't forget the absolute non-dual truth of oneness and unity, which then becomes an issue if you ever talk about like, hey, they call it, raw vegan or whatever. I don't really use that term, only because many, many years ago, I already began to get started to be attacked by the vegans for whatever reason. I mean, it was more of a game back then to drive traffic and stuff, because all the same vegans that were attacking me for whatever reason, I don't even really understand what it was, they were always cool to me, to my face. So it was just a game that we played online, a game I never played well, because of your intelligence, I didn't think that was appropriate to play any game. So what I've tried to do, which has ruined my career basically, is like, I'm the most boring, unevolved, social media influencer that there's ever been, because obviously you can see I pushed the button, I haven't started editing, and I probably won't. I have no intro, no outro. I don't even have thumbnails, because I've tried and doesn't even make any difference. I don't know how to do all the other stuff, the bells and whistles. And you're also supposed to grab people's attention within the first 1.8 seconds. So in this modern world, you have 1.8 seconds to change someone's life, or you don't. So you have to educate people within 1.8 seconds, which I find to be absolutely impossible. So I guess I'm making these for myself, but I know I do get a few viewers that watch from beginning to end, and they enjoy it and they appreciate it. And I'm just sort of a philosophizer. If you really want to know what I think, it's better just to go sit by yourself, away from everyone, because there are two types of people in this world. And the first type of person you want to avoid completely. And the second type of person you want to avoid completely. So you go and you sit alone and you be quiet and you do the inward journey. I'm going to tell you, I don't even like to talk about stuff like this, but I'm going to do it anyways because I care and it's cool and I'm almost done here. I'm not exhausted in certain ways, but I think we're going to be able to lay down the torch because society is finally starting to get it. At least they're having the autism, conversation, which is a freaking miracle, in and of itself. But those, they call them the elites. I don't like to call them that, but for simplicity purposes and a general understanding, the elites, those ones who, they plan this out. They know they're not going to see, even the people that work hard and spend trillions of dollars on these mass psyop propaganda, interventions like fluoride pills in school. When we're in the 80s, we were eating fluoride pills. Now no one talks about that, but no wonder, look at everyone, and that's what we're constantly trying to, that's why Dan McDonald is a hypochondriac, because he's doing to get that out of there. So, and he's made some progress over the years. It's been slow and steady and painful, but pain is a big part of the game. So, we're finally starting to have these conversations, and the elite, they've been trying to destroy us for years because they just want us gone and they want their families to inherit the earth. And so they've been doing a lot of dark, sinister stuff, and they dumb everyone down. And what you're trying to do is wake everyone up, but they are literally so unaware that they are protecting their captives. They've captured your mind. They've poisoned your body and mind. They have diminished your reproductive potential. They've diminished your spiritual potential with these infusions. They've disrupted your cognitive ability by not teaching you how to manage money, not teaching you how to think critically, only teaching you what to think. And you become this docile sheep on fluoride capsules with inflammation in the brain and detrimental inimical substances obstructing your cellular potential, where that life force energy is now inhibited because it's the path of conductivity throughout the cells. But when you have those substances that are isolated and synthetic that block organic receptor sites, the electricity, the blood, the lymph, the liquids, and the electrical impulse gets inhibited. So people lose their electrical life force potential, not realizing it. Then when you try to tell them about it, they'll defend their destroyers, their captives, their slave masters until the very end. And so you have to, of course you're exhausted. You're trying to get these rocks to fly. They're like, the bulldozer's coming. It's going to roll over you and crush you. And the rocks are like, oh, shut up, shut up. So it's trying to get these rocks to fly, because the bulldozer's going to come and crush them. But they just won't listen. So then you watch the bulldozer, and as the bulldozer gets to them, or they experience these things, and I'm not talking about like what they have. There's two kinds of autism. There's the, I'm so autistic. It's it's so hard because I'm a neurodivergent, and it's oh my God, I'm so autistic. And then there's real autism, where the kids are shitting their pants at 22 years old, kicking the drywall in for the 7th time, so your husband decides not even to replace it anymore, while your son or daughter's banging their head against the wall, or beating up the mom, or beating up the dad, or smashing the TV for the 3rd time. No more TV, no more going to visit the neighbors, because the whole thing goes to hell in a handbasket. I'm talking about real autism, because I've worked with these people, okay, and it is sad. Not the chic, bougie, popular, hip autism. I'm talking about real autism, brain damage, immunoexcitotoxicity. And they wanted me on Facebook to explain the mechanisms. And I'm not going to do that over there on Facebook. You do it yourself. Go read the books. I say just go read Dissolving Illusions. If you don't understand that it was the DDT that was causing the polio, then you've got your head so far up your butt that you're never going to be able to wipe the poop off because it's like 17 inches thick. And everyone with a half a brain in their head knows that, but guess what? Nobody ever does any kind of in-depth analysis of what was going on historically at the time. No one ever even talks about the DDT, but they were spraying on the grass, spraying it in the trees, spraying it on the kids as they entered the door in school, wondering why they're having neurological damage. And then they stopped doing that, and then the cases started to go down, and then they introduced the wonderful blapper, and then they gave the blapper all the credit. And that's the story over and over and over again. But these people are making, see, the underlords know exactly what is going on. They've been killing and depopulating generation after generation. It started way before Rockefeller, but Rockefeller really picked up on it and accelerated with the massive amounts of, back then it was billions and it's turned into trillions. $1 trillion depopulation psyops over and over again, to where the people now, they just gobble up the propaganda like it's a poop covered turd, a chocolate covered turd without any chocolate. It's like a shit sandwich with no bread. So they're just chewing it up and they're just spitting it back out, and you're like, have you ever done any research? I gave up on all the research. I don't care. I don't need any more data. The only thing I didn't know for myself, and here's the beautiful thing about Dan McDonald, I did one good thing in my life. My young daughter, who's an amazing mother, and my 2 grandkids are 100% on point, laser sharp, awesome kids. And guess what? They love their granddad. Because my ex-wife was like, oh, great, it used to be grandma, 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 until I come, and then all they ever talk about is me. Well, grandma don't get on the floor and play horsey, and grandma don't push anybody in the stroller at 100 miles an hour, to where they actually get scared, but then after they're done and I slow down, then they're like, okay, I don't know if I'm freaked out or what, but that was kind of awesome. It was new anyways, So my kids are brand new, shiny, like brains that work. And then you got the other kids, bags under their eyes, 3, 4 years old, crying, punching everything. I wanted the baby Bixies with the color boppers, and then you're like, well, I wonder what happened. Well, duh. And I'm the bad guy? I don't think so, kids. I've left my legacy. I'm wrapping it up now. I tried my best. I wasn't very effective, I'll admit it. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't really want to do a lot of bells and whistles. I was just hoping that a few people would catch on, and it was fun for me at the time. I mean, I guess I still kind of enjoy it because the mechanism was very simple, and Dr. Molden was on point. He explained it so well. It was unbelievable. I watched that video series 20, 30 times before they took it down and then killed him. But he had studied 10,000 cases of kids of autism, and then they killed him with some kind of wave technology or something, because you shouldn't be having a heart attack at 47. But it's a stressful game because they don't want this information getting out to understand what causes the microcapillary occlusion and what causes the blockage of blood flow to those watershed areas in the brain that then where you lose motor coordination, or you lose speech, or you lose nervous system conductivity, because you have to have blood flow. But when those white blood cells or those immune cells are overactive because of the immunoexcitotoxicity, they're going to block blood flow. And when it's a massive onslaught with so many blappers at one time, then that creates this massive explosion of inflammation, because the white blood cells and the immune cells in the brain creating those proteins, then they block up. It's just trying to be a temporary protection mechanism, but it's not temporary. It ends up being more permanent. And so the way to regenerate the autistic children is to increase circulation and detoxify those plaques out of the brain. That's what happens in dementia, and it's a process we're all dealing with from day one. Now, if we got smart, we could do a lot about that. And it's the artificial everythings, and it's the brain plaques from all of the synthetics. But you can extend your life dramatically by avoiding the synthetics as much as possible. And when you have that 100% intramuscular infusion, you've got a 100% absorbability. When you have it orally, you can have a 0.4, 0.7, 0.1, 0.2, or 1 or 2%, depending on what kind of chemical and the state of your gastrointestinal tract, the strength of your microbiome and your immune system, as to how much of those synthetic chemicals that are on the shelf are absorbed into the bloodstream and settle into the body. But when you have it shot right in, that's a 100% absorption that the body now has to deal with, the kidneys, the lymph. And then, of course, being an electrical system, it's going to attract metals. And those metals are highly corrosive. And so obviously the immune system is going to, go insane and produce those giant protein white blood cells, and then they're going to clump together and create those plaques, and you're going to lose that blood flow. And so it's pretty obvious what is actually going on. There are some precursors, and one of them is the disruption of the microbiology. But the straw that breaks the camel's back is 100% absorption of 100%, 150 to 180 isolated synthetics. And not only that, per blapper, but not only that, but then imagine what's happening to our world today with the reproductive and the transgender movement, taking the aborted baby fetus cells, blending them up in a Vitamix, which isn't really true, but they pulverize, and that's where they culture the viruses, is on top of. Now, what does that mean? Well, do you think they're separating male and female aborted baby fetuses? No. So you're getting male and female. So you're getting DNA of the different XY and XX chromosomes. Hello. Now everyone's like, I don't know what I am. Then add Hollywood into that and add in this whole I'm lonely and scared and crazy, and then all the other gender-bending endocrine disrupting chemicals. We've got ourselves a serious problem here, kid. But the thing is, with the proper education, it's unbelievable what you can do. And I recommend it. I'm not going to be able to educate anymore. I'm done here. I'm not really burned out. It's just like, no one's going to see this. I'm going to get like 200, 300 views. Only about 7 or 8 of you are even left at this point. So you understand, I'm not really that frustrated or heartburn, but I need to compress this into a well-edited 7 to 12 minutes, and it's got to be catchy, and then I've got to have the algorithms, and then I've got to have so I don't know if I'm making a big difference, but for me it was fun, and I'm grateful to know that, because my legacy is my grandkids being completely undamaged, because my daughter was hella smart. Now, my ex-wife, she didn't listen. And the reason why I got into this, number one, was because, I was having a little baby, and I was a voracious reader, even though when I was on drugs and alcohol, walking the streets, sleeping with these hippie chicks and stuff, I still was a voracious reader at the time, And I would just go, and I thought, okay, we're having kids, and I read a few books on kids and how to have kids and all this stuff. I still did a kind of a crappy job, but that's because me and my ex-wife, she wanted me to change, and I didn't want to change. I'll change now, and I've changed, she's changed, and we're great friends. She's an amazing woman, and I'm really glad she pulled a ninja on me because her clock was ticking. So she found herself a young breeding stud, and she had 2 kids, so I've got to hand it to her. I say, pretty good job, because her clock was ticking. So find dumb horny balls, shake your little butt in his face, boom, boom, you got 2 awesome kids. I love my kids. They're amazing kids, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But okay, I was unconscious, and unready and totally damaged and broken from childhood, but with my organic, spaghetti and meatballs and my Dick's burgers and my wheatgrass and carrot juice, I was able to have very viable sperm and created 2 very amazing kids. Now I'm a granddad, so I'm stoked. So that is my legacy. And if these videos and the 17 years of all this was in vain, then at least my daughter trusted me and believed, not in me, but maybe in the essence of what I was trying to teach. And now my little grandkids, man, they live off chlorella is their candy, and strawberries is their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they're really awesome little people, and I keep thinking I might need to go back that way. I have a great life here. I'm on Hawaii right now, driving on the back roads, because I'm going to go out here to the beach and just go for, this is the place where you can get away from everyone. There'll probably be like 2 or 3 other people way out here, and then I can just walk the whole beach and I don't even have to look at another human being. I love humanity, but I'm beat up, and you know, I don't have any regrets. I've been going through a lot. I've been in my personal environment. I won't tell you too much out of respect for the people that, you know, just one person with, you know, the vibe is just in my own personal private area. It's been a little bit stressful. I wish I could tell you that situation, that story, you would understand. And but I'm trying to keep it going because I got to keep my boat floating here. And I appreciate everyone. There's no doubt about that. I'm a hardcore conspiracy nut who believes that there are global elite who've had a plan and it doesn't benefit us at all. And so I've been against that. And then I found like wholesome food. Then I found all this like, oh, I can regenerate my reproductive system. That's why I don't listen to the raw vegans that are like, I don't use supplements, man, because there's no way I'm going to go without dulse. It would be stupid to go without bee pollen. It would be stupid to go without Dr. Morse's you know, male formula. I mean, I've been taking that since I met Dr. Morse 20 years ago or something, you know, 20 something years ago. I went to his first class, you know, and people are pissed because I don't follow Dr. Morse like a religion. I don't follow Lou like a religion. I don't follow Tavis like a religion. I don't follow Dr. Walker like a religion. I don't follow Hilton Hotima like a religion. I don't follow Living Foods like a religion. I don't have a religion. I only have a love for the truth. And that's it. And there's nothing more that can be said. Oh, take me home, oh Lord. Because, you know, yeah, peace and ease. You know. And you've heard me say it before, you know. Draw me near you. Give me peace of mind, oh Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't even talk that much spirituality on here or my own spirituality, but I truly believe in the divine, you know. Now, do I want to break it down and get into theological discussions and argue with everyone? No, because it's everything. So you're right, I'm right, we're all right. And the quieter that you are, which you're never going to be able to do that with this job, and I'm pretty good at this. I don't know if I've said anything that even matters, but I know I have a few people here still, and I appreciate you. And also, I get some Google AdSense, and that's the one thing that keeps me going. It is the strangest thing to get some of my money back from Google. Okay? And my Google AdSense is like $535 right now. And I give all that to my dude who helps me with these shorts and these reels and stuff like that, and help me get my channel back and all that good stuff. So I am grateful. I know that we are going to find out, and they're going to know, the world will know soon enough what causes autism. We've known for decades, and we see what they do, and we know they don't want you to know about the food. They don't want you to know about the medicines. They don't want you to know about the shots. They don't want you to know about the psyops. They don't want you to know that nothing is real and none of this is real, and that, you know, it's been detrimental propaganda and brainwashing to turn you into a sheep with fluoride pills in the 80s, and no one even ever got punished. It was just then those things outgrow, then they come up with a new thing that they can do you with, and then they're like, well, we need a pandemic, you know, so we can get these people to absorb this other stuff, which this new one did something to people. Because I've seen it, and I can't believe it, but they put some kind of information in there that then got into it. Not only so the transgender movement of the aborted baby fetuses, but now some type of technology where they're implementing, you know, some kind of information. It's bizarre what these people say as they're dying from the heart attacks and strokes. Prior to it, the last thing they say is some bizarre thing about one of the psyops, the most recent. Oh, that poor kitty. Oh my God. This cat is as skinny as a stick. Oh, I wish I had some cat food. My chickens are fat. I feed my chickens. I wish I would have brought one of my chickens. I would feed it to this poor cat. Oh, man. Well, its face looks healthy. It's just skinny. I mean, it's out here running wild because it's got to grab birds and stuff. Someone abandoned their cat way the hell out here, and they survive. I used to bring cat food with me everywhere I went, and I need to do that again. The chickens are easy. They'll eat the coconut. The pigs will eat whatever. They'll eat anything. And the cats, I need to get them some cat food, because you got to feed the animals everywhere you go. They're hungry. You got to feed the people too. Humans, they're all fighting about food. After all these years, I know less than when I started. In fact, my mind is completely blank. I have no idea. I don't even think it has anything to do with food anyways. That's my latest thing you're going to hear from me. I was going to save that to about another year or two from now until I dive deep into this energy body transformation, because it just seems like it has nothing to do with the food and everything to do with the energy body, and everything to do with the energy body is like the people you're around. So when you're in these environments like I am, where the vibe is off because we're dealing with serious things, keep it on the low because it's private, personal stuff for other people. Otherwise, if it was me, I'd be forthcoming. But it's good people with energy fields that then affect your energy fields, and you are working on your energy fields, so you're feeling and absorbing and being affected by other energy fields. Now, we're just trying to transcend it all, I imagine, in the end. But as we are in our local environment and we're just in the beginning phases, like I am, like a beginning sadhaka, on this journey, I think we need to have environments. In other words, keep the company of sages, and high vibrational people, so that you can have that as an example and as an energy field, which is very uplifting and helpful, And then we go into these environments like social media, and it's just a war zone. And then the families, everyone's fighting, and the relationships, and then all within the factions of the various religions and diets and politics. And so everyone is just mad as hell. I want to say for the record, once again, I can't think of any single person that I hate. Now, people hate me for not hating. They want me to hate. They're like, I can't believe you don't hate. I'm like, I don't hate anybody, and nobody bothers me. And I'm not going to buy into the psyop that you've been bought into, because I don't do the propaganda. I'm seeking the truth, and that is an experiential journey you'll have to find within yourself. I've had a great journey. I've had a great life, and I've been wanting to tell you that for a long time. The last 17 years have been hellish heaven. I got to be somebody, but now I realize with succinct clarity that there's nothing worse than being a somebody, because then you got all this crap you got to defend. It's like all your personal belongings and all your acquisitions. It's you have all this crap, and now you have to protect it, defend it, insure it, pay for it, maintain it. I mean, what a nightmare, you know what I'm saying? Anyhow, I'm finally at my destination, and I am going to go for the longest walk in the history of beach walks. I could talk forever because there's probably a few things I left off, but it doesn't matter. You already knew the mechanisms behind the autism. The world will catch on. We're going to start a detoxification of autism. They're going to finally get that to the private individuals can do so. It is very difficult to get your child, but there are some things you can get them to consume that will help with the occlusion and increasing in the circulation. And if you can keep going, if it's a more milder case, you can get them to eat some of the foods that lead to, oh wow, the cat, a new cat just went hunting, and I think it caught it, because I never saw the bird take off. I think he got it. Let's see, we're gonna see if this little kitty cat got his prize. And then the cat just mysteriously disappeared. Where'd you go? Hey. Wow. Because you know how the cat jumps and pounces on its prey. That's what just happened. But then the cat disappeared like a ninja. So we're talking about mystic cats. Long walk out here. This is the best of the best, and it's all for me because it's kind of rainy today and no one wants to come out to the beach when it's raining. Anyways, we are living in amazing times. The world is not going to end, so you might want to plan on, being around until you're not anymore. So plan accordingly. Invest in gold and silver. And invest in yourself, because if you're going to be here stuck in your body, you want to keep it going as good as you can. So get some exercise, breathe fresh air, all the conspiracies. It's like pretty soon this new administration is going to say fresh air is good for you, and then the people are going to stop trying to stop breathing. They're going to have like choking contests. All the people that hate this administration are going to start choking each other. Because they're going to realize you can't choke yourself to death, because you'll let go before you die. It's impossible to choke yourself to death. They've done experiments. Oh God, shouldn't have left on that point. I almost made it out of this video unscathed. Anyhow, take care of yourself, kids. This is amazing. I love being at this point. This is all for me, man. The whole thing is mine. I better put it in 4 low here. If I wanted to lower the tires, I could go out on the sand, but I'd rather just, instead of driving out on the sand, I'd rather just walk. I could go out on the sand today, though. It'd be fun. But my tires kind of suck. I'm getting new tires on Tuesday. My tires are kind of bald. Now it does make a difference on the sand. Anyhow, here I am. What a fun video for me. Everybody's like, he's definitely a conspiracy nut. But he's been right about everything. Thank God. I'm not. They're not killing me. I'm still alive. I still have my virility. I still have testosterone. And I know that's enemy. Masculinity, testosterone is enemy number 1, because that's the one thing that will stop them. And that's why there's a psyop against any masculine anything. That's why they want feminine presidents, and that's why they want feminine everything, and feminism, and men bad. Men are bad, testosterone is bad, but that's stupid, because the men are the protectors that take a club and smash the elites' heads, and we fight back and we blow holes in them to protect our family and to protect our way of life, and they don't like that. So we're going to continue to be masculine men, and we're not going to really give a crap what anyone thinks, because the right women that are still balanced, whole, complete, and sane are going to want to be in their feminine with a masculine man. So that's the beauty of everything. Don't believe in the psyop, kids. Men are good, women are good, white people are good, black people are good, the sun is good, fresh air is good, whole food is good, exercise is good, stretching is good, yoga is good, weightlifting is good, relationships are good, getting along is good, celibacy is good, making love is good. Everything has its time and its place. The world is not so black and white. Although these videos might make you think that I live in a black and white world, but I will let anyone at any time win any argument, as long as I don't have to waste one iota of energy trying to convince anyone of anything. This is just for fun. This is for informational purposes only. Consult your doctor if you want to get advice on, what kind of drugs and pills and shots you need to take, and what kind of surgeries you need to have all your vital organs removed, and then you'll be healthy. So a little sarcasm, a little humor, a little truth, a little anger, a little love, because Dan McDonald, lo and behold, I can't believe this guy. How dare he stay a human in the world of AI, artificial, fake, everything. I'm Dan McDonald. I'm still a real human. If I'm the only one left and you hate me for it, oh well. I love me. I'm glad to be human. I'm going to stay human as long as I can. I have all my glands, all my organs. I have no metal in my body, thank God, except for the little microscopic. Now it's nanoscopic metals because the technologies have improved. So amazing stuff, right, kids? Amazing stuff. But I'm the crazy one. Aloha. 40 minutes. Thanks for your love and support and comments and thumbs up.